regarding housing. In conjunction with this morning's press release regarding the purchase of Belvedere Remainder, I am pleased to announce the finalization of the National Housing Policy, as well as the creation of the committee to support the realization of the Mortgage Guarantee Fund. Within the coming days, more information will be released on how both the policy and the fund will support the realization of our national housing goals. Regarding the General Audit Chamber report, I want to address some statements made in the media regarding the General Audit Chamber's report on permits. Allow me to indicate that the report examined the period 2020 to 2024. As such, the investigation does not formally cover my mandate, though a number of the issues, of course, persist. The Audit Chamber presented me with their report in the week of November 24th, and in a press release of the 27th, I reported on my meeting and my response to the recommendations on what we are doing to address their findings. This was followed up with a letter to the Chamber reiterating my plans to address these and what we have been proactively doing over the course of this year. I will, of course, for the sake of transparency, be republishing and resharing these recommendations to the public. And finally, a bit of housekeeping. A friendly reminder of tonight's public consultation on the Simartin Wastewater Treatment Project at Bel Air Community Center from 6 to 9 p.m. This $25 million project will introduce public sewage network in the Dutch cul-de-sac area, create household connections, enhance the capacity of the current wastewater treatment plant, and beautify the neighborhoods in the Dutch cul-de-sac basin. The public is encouraged to come out and hear about the government vision for wastewater treatment and how the project will help support the realization of this vision. And finally, throughout the course of this week, government will of course continue with the scheduled road works. Of course, noting the weather, there will of course be slight delays. Works continue in the next coming days on Billy Folly Road and throughout the country on road patch.
I want to take it from your statement on the consultation tonight with regarding the wastewater project for the cul-de-sac basin. As a clarification there, I'd like for you to tell me if the ministry has the capacity to handle the project. While I do understand that this is a much needed project, I want to know if the ministry in its current status has the capacity to handle such a project. Minister, also just in October, I believe it is, in October, the entire cul-de-sac basin was flooded. What measures are you taking or plan to implement to curb the flooding, considering, like I said, the October flooding?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Bibi. The first question regarding the capacity of the ministry to handle the project. I think one of the great things about the ministry is that we've done sewage projects before. One of the challenges I think we faced in the past is oversight and proper management of the projects. So one of the key benefits of having the World Bank and the structures in place is that that monitoring mechanism will be strengthened. Regarding the capacity in-house, I think one of the things that I'm very proud of is that in-house we do have a lot of experts on sewage water treatment. In the NRPB as well, we have one of the, also a very strong expertise within the NRPB team on this project as well. And of course, all the different work outside of the management and the theory of the project, which happens between the VROMI and NRPB, that's being done by a third-party construction company contractor. So I'm very confident that this project will be a success. One, because we do have a lot of local expertise on sewage water, and we do have the capacity within the construction area to have this executed. One thing about this project is that it was meant to kick off towards the end of last year. We actually kicked off only in April due to some different challenges. And thus far, it has rapidly advanced to the point that we are looking at an intervention starting at the beginning of at the end of next year, with a wrap-up time of 18 months. So it's very successful thus far. Regarding water drainage in the cul-de-sac area, indeed, I think it's one of those things that I've been speaking about since becoming minister. Sustainable development. And everybody thinks sustainable development means that you don't want to see things growing. Actually, what sustainable development means is you consider things like drainage in your communities when you build. We know very well that the amount of drainage capacity we have in those areas is limited. We're also looking at, within the same project, how at the same time when we're going to be digging into the road and making the intervention for sewage lines, how we can actually improve the capacity of the drainage system in that area as well.
Are you SXM insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXM is cardless. Request your My SXM account today and enter the virtual office of SXM. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXM, yeah, your social health insurances.
24/7 TV programming on www.stmartinmediacenter.com, SXM Daily News, PBS NewsHour, Now You Know, Com programs, documentary, entertainment, sports events, Saturday children's hours, religion programs, and movies. Click on SXM TV broadcast to see your favorite programs.
Priority means first-year students, for example, would get higher priority over, and the priority is they look also at the travel time. If it's more than 2 hours being on St. Martin, that's definitely going to be more than 2 hours, but it's not a guarantee that you're going to get that priority. Urgency, special needs. If you have special needs, special housing needs, that is also considered under the rules at room.nl for the social housing. All right? Then step 3, the application is simple. You choose the city, you get to know the city, and you have to apply and be active applying. All right? So that's the social housing. So that's the second method, social housing via room.nl. Then we go to using websites. One of the biggest websites in the Netherlands to find student housing is kamer.nl. That's the largest rental and leasing company. And it does not work with waiting times. Once you register, on the next slide, we're going to see that. You're going to get some opportunities to respond. The rent here is going to be much higher than the social housing. Yeah, so that's going to be much higher than the minimum. And then you always have to be careful because anyone can place a room on kamer.nl to rent, so you have to be careful for scams. Do not pay any large amounts if they ask you for large amounts to be deposited directly in a bank account. Definitely not. And you must read the contract carefully before you sign it. Yeah? So the landlords, kamer.nl work like this. The landlords offer housing, put their housing up to rent on kamer.nl, and then you get a chance to respond when something comes of it.
What's the primary difference between the social housing and the housing that's on kamer.nl?
It's mainly the social housing, and this is mainly the rent. Yeah, the social housing is affordable, so that means the rent may vary between $350 to $550, and the other rooms that you get from on kamer.nl, then the rates goes up. So it's anything that a landlord basically wants for their place. But social housing is regulated by law. So there's a maximum they can charge. All right? So kamer.nl, again here, you have to register. I would advise you strongly to purchase, if you really want to find housing via kamer.net, you need to purchase a premium account. And you see the accounts, they're valid for 6 months. So it means that between now and next year, you may have to re-register again and purchase again. But you must have an account, and it's going to cost you. So with the account, once you have the account, it means that once you register for a certain city, you're going to get messages. You're going to be able to respond to ads placed on camera.net. Yeah. So if you don't have an account, you will just see the houses, but you can't respond. So only with an account would you be able to respond, and then you're in contact with the landlords, and you could go from there. They say you can cancel at any time, but sometimes that's more difficult said than done. That's more easier said than done. All right. So this is a method that works, but it's going to cost you. So over the course from now until then, and the difficulty with this is if you find something now, to hold it until next year, you actually have to start paying. So no one is going to hold the room for you if you find it now. So it's a bit, this is also, the timing, is critical here. Then you could go via websites. There are a lot of websites offering housing. So you have marktplaats.nl, which is a big marketplace. They have everything, you could find. But you also find, once it's open, you would also find a lot of slumlords, scams, etc. So you have to beware on marktplaats.nl. And the best thing is, maybe if you find something or you're interested in something, you have a contact in the Netherlands, always let them check it out for you, visit for you, contact the landlord on your behalf before you engage in anything. So these two websites are two websites that we have found that some persons have had some success with. One of the most popular agencies, Turangulu, I think they are kind of getting out of the market, but if you're going to the Tilburg, Breda, Eindhoven area, Kamer Bemiddeling Tilburg is really a good option. They find housing for you, they find something for you. For sure, a lot of our students have had success with them using Kamer Bemiddeling Tilburg. Yeah? So if you're going in that area, but they only do housing in Tilburg, of course.
Are you SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXV, yeah, your social health insurances.
24/7 TV programming on www.stmartinmediacenter.com. SXM Daily News.
The ministry had announced, and school closed shortly after. The unrelenting traffic of parents and school buses followed. They swam up street to pick up children from the grounds of old estates. Older students braved the gushing river that had once been L.B. Scott Road. Denzel held his jacket over Melissa's head. When Denzel waded into the water to walk Melissa to her school bus on the other side, he stepped into a pothole and went down into the cafe au lait water. Thankfully, Melissa was spared, and the snickering from across the river banks morphed into a loud applause when Denzel popped up from his water baptism and bowed. A true papi show, as his mother always says. He wipes the water off his face and got Melissa to her bus. Students huddled under the narrow shelters of the bus stops, watching. Some on the lookout for other failed river crossings, and others swiped through videos of different flooded neighborhoods, secretly wondering how they would get home. Denzel! Denzel! His mother screamed over the vindictive howls of Hurricane Irma. Her frantic Category 5 fury had locked them in a bedroom, the belly of a whale, a womb. Wake up, wake up, wake up, Denzel! But how could he when everything was pitch black? His ears popped, his head ached. How could you describe the loneliness of spiraling, pixelating clouds? How do you select words to capture the traveling worlds within those wicked winds? Something was trying to suck his brain through his ear hole, and that was the best description that he could come up with, the best description to share with his friends. A whole island seduced by a hurricane, hypnotized, skin-crawling shrieks from zinc roofs, paralyzed by scattering glass and gurgling toilet bowls. His mother was shaking him. Skittish and quivering, the LED lights from her flashlight jumped from the wall to the clothes closet in the corner, to the wastebasket on the floor, to the raving, mad almond tree over their heads. Wait, what? Then he felt it, how soaked his t-shirt and pants already were. We must go, his mother said. Go where? Isn't this the same brand new house his father had said was hurricane-proof? The anger was inflating his tired limbs. He had spent a good portion of the evening holding the mattress against a compromised window and against the entitled winds. His dad had left them to wait out the storm elsewhere. No, 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 no. His mother scooted off the bed. It was suddenly eerily quiet. He ran after her, after the lunging light ahead of them. The roof was completely torn off. How had he slept through that? They climbed over debris, wiggled between parked cars, and jogged over to Miss Arlene's old traditional house, standing like a champion in a fight. The world must be coming to an end if his mother was seriously considering Miss Arlene for shelter, the crazy woman with all them cats. Sleep deprived, he jumped suddenly when something caught his eye and the wind began to groan and wake back up. He didn't see when his mother reached out and grabbed him, scraping his neck with her nails. Mr. Brandon's word came back to him crystal clear. Wind strong enough to cut your head off with zinc. He felt the scrape on his neck burn and grabbed his throat. The wind screamed. Miss Arlene opened the door and they scooted inside. He had already wet his pants, and both women looked at him when the smell filled the tiny living room. The eyes of cats appeared too. He found out that it was Miss Arlene's weird way of marking time, of acknowledging the storms that she had survived. Sandy, Matthew, Harvey. And he was certain, as they settled down in the kitchen, that she would name one of the kittens Irma. When curfew had lifted, he pedals his bike to Cahill to Melissa. The shantytown on the hillside is now a picturesque waterfall of personal items, wet cushions, the sequins red dress that Melissa had worn for her birthday last weekend, a scattered family of bent forks from Sunny Foods, a massive soup pot from Ochehu, cooks Goldwater every Friday, somebody's jacuzzi. The hurricane was a washing machine, scattering homes and trees after a spin cycle. The second rinse is coming. In his new neighborhood, he had seen the discarded shoes, food cans, electronics and papers, cracked dentures, and stunned ocean fish racing towards their final breath. A vicious display of show and tell. The once familiar path that he walked his bike through is now a mess of bald banana stalks, crude zinc sculptures, a jigsaw puzzle of debris, unshakable things shaken from their places. Sitting on the remains of her house, sitting on the remains of her front porch, Melissa is still postcard pretty. Behind her, the family's longtime home had been chewed down to only a concrete bedroom and bath. The ugly stumps of pink wall gave open into the once-upon-a-time living room like exposed gums. She didn't see him approaching. She tightens the bandana around her braids and skips through her notes. Her uniform shirts and skirt flap on the clothesline beside the house. She then leans down and circles something over and over in her notebook. He rests his bike against the uprooted tree and sighs at the sight in her lap, her prized geography notebook in tatters.
Thank you all for being here. This room brings together policy advisors, technical experts, NGO leaders, the University of St. Martin, people whose work directly shapes the resilience and sustainability of our island. Your leadership, your expertise, and your commitment are essential to the future we are building together. As small islands, we know all too well that our impact on the global climate and climate change are negligible. But as small islands, this reality does not mean we need to sit back as passive participants of an ever-changing environment. In fact, as small islands, the impact of climate and climate change are most felt by us, and should therefore be our catalyst to find innovative solutions to spatial planning, development, and response. Today's symposium is more than a series of presentations. It's a collective moment, an opportunity to align our efforts, to strengthen intergovernmental cooperation, and to reaffirm that climate action on our island must be coordinated, data-driven, and most importantly, inclusive. Climate change touches every sector of society. It affects our infrastructure, our housing, our natural areas, our public health, and our economy. No single ministry, organization, or discipline can address these challenges alone. We must act together. As Minister of Spatial Planning, Housing, Environment, and Infrastructure, I see every day how interconnected our challenges are. The work of ROMI reaches into various spaces where we live and function: our roads, homes, coastlines, watersheds, and natural environments. And our responsibility is not only to build and regulate, but to safeguard. To ensure that no community is left more vulnerable and that every policy supports a safer and more resilient St. Martin. This morning, it is my honor to officially open this mini climate symposium, where several governmental climate initiatives will be presented. Among them is a project that marks a major step forward in our collective capacity to understand and address climate risk, the St. Martin Climate Impact Atlas. The Atlas was developed through the International Panel for Deltas and Coastal Areas, IPDC, with funding from the Ministry of Infrastructure and Water Management of the Netherlands. It was implemented through a partnership between Climate Adaptation Services, CAS, the Ministry of ROMI, and University of St. Martin, with contributions from many local stakeholders. What makes this atlas particularly significant is the breadth of collaboration behind it. It brings together data not only from the Dutch side of the island, but also the French side, ensuring that the risks we face as one island are understood in a unified and comprehensive way. It integrates information from multiple government departments, NGOs, researchers, utility providers, environmental organizations, and technical specialists. This multi-actor collaboration enriches the atlas and ensures that it reflects real conditions on the ground. The result is a tool that offers clear, accessible, and evidence-based insights into our island's exposure to flooding, storms, coastal erosion, heat, and sea level rise. For policymakers, planners, and NGOs, it provides a critical foundation for informed decision-making, whether in zoning, infrastructure planning, environmental management, community resilience projects, and of course, emergency preparedness. As we continue developing the National Climate Adaptation Framework, the Atlas will serve as a key reference, helping us prioritize actions, direct resources where they're needed most, and support long-term planning across all sectors. But, like every initiative you will hear about today, the value of the Climate Impact Atlas lies not only in the tool itself, but in how we use it, collectively, consistently, and cooperatively. In short, it means it speaks of the value of integration. Geospatial information systems, computer-based systems for capturing, storing, analyzing, and managing data, is a driving component of the climate impact atlas. The value of such systems is its interoperability. That is, the ability it offers to exchange and make use of data. Such integration is being supported through the collaboration between finance, the cadastre, and of course, BROMI. This data will give value to MARTI, the early emergency response tool being launched later this morning, by helping to inform such things as the scope of intervention, during response, making fit for purpose, but most importantly, efficient decision-making possible. This symposium is proof that the work ahead requires all of us, ministries, NGOs, academia, community organizations, and our international partners. To all who contributed, CAS, USM, the IPDC, French and Dutch agencies, NGOs, technical experts, data providers, and community partners, thank you.